All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started, and then those that are still not here can join us as they can. Welcome to Family First Wednesday. My name is Beth Ayers. I am the Family Peer Support Lead at Montana's Peer Network. I also provide family peer support at the Children's Clinic. And we are happy to be here with my co-presenter, Kayla Myers. She is also a family peer supporter at the Children's Clinic in Billings. And we are going to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about our project that we are wrapping up this month. So before we get into that, though, I wanted to let everybody know that we do have that new Facebook group for family members. It is free to become a family member at Montana's Peer Network. And then once you sign up for that, you can join the Facebook group. We also are coming up on our recovery and wellness conference, which will be this coming weekend, Saturday from 9:30 to 4:30. It is also free for family members and recovery members of Montana's Network, and it will be in Helena. So if anybody's interested and going to be in the area, let us know and pre-register for that. And I think that's about it. So we will dive right in. Kayla, if you want to share your screen and
Yes, I was just going to put the link to the Facebook group in the comments, just so everyone can, if you haven't joined, then you can just click on it pretty easily. And then, yeah, I will share this. Can you guys see it? All right. Okay. Awesome.
okay. All right, so Montana's Peer Network was awarded a grant by the Department of Health and Human Services in Montana, specifically the Division Early Childhood, and under that, the Children's Special Health Services. We took over actually an ongoing project called the Montana Parent Partner Program. They've been working in Montana for probably about 10 years at that point, providing family peer support. They called them parent partners at the time. And I had been working for them probably for about 6 months at this point. And the owner of that project was outside of Montana and really could see what Montana's Peer Network was going to do for family peer support as far as building the profession and building the training and the workforce, and really wanted us to continue on the program. So that's what we did. We applied for it. We applied to not only take over the Montana Parent Partner Program and to serve families, but also to develop a statewide network of families and of family peer supporters, to develop training for that workforce as well, and to develop the project standards for family peer supporters. So that was kind of an all-encompassing project that we had applied for. And we were awarded it. Out of the 5 locations that the Montana Parent Partner Program had, only 3 of them came over with us. So we had 3 locations, one in Helena, one in Butte, and one here in Billings. And we had 3 employees, including myself, come over. So that was kind of the kind of an intro to kind of the project, what we had hoped to achieve in the project. So I guess here, kind of sharing what a family peer supporter is. When we took over the project, we kind of redefined it just a little bit. And we defined it as a parent or caregiver with their own lived experience raising a child with a behavioral health challenge and or a special health care need, who provides support to another parent or caregiver who is currently raising a child with those same needs. And that definition actually came from the Montana Family Peer Support Task Force. They came up with that, and that was the one that we kind of adopted to go forward. What do we have next?
Sorry.
That's okay. Next slide, please. So the reason that we felt family peer support is important and to continue it is that it really increases family engagement. It increases the caregiver's knowledge. It decreases the caregiver's anxiety and the family stress. It increases family empowerment and it increases social resources. And at this point, I mean, there's quite a few people and organizations that were providing family peer support across Montana. We just weren't really uh, connecting with each other, and we were kind of under all sorts of different names, hence, parent partner, family supporter, family support specialist, advocate. So we were kind of all over doing pretty much the same thing, supporting supporting families with children with special needs. Next. So some of the challenges that have come with this program, I think there's no pilot project that comes without its fair share of challenges. And so some of our, I would say the biggest ones were just taking over an established program, established project. We came in, so for all of the current employees, kind of everything changed for them. They were still at their locations, but their employer had changed, the organization had changed. So they were working under a different company, a different environment, different expectations, and a different job description. So the Montana Parent Partner Program, they had their parent partners pretty much providing family peer support at that location that they were at. Usually it would be a primary care clinic, pediatric office, hospital, that sort of thing. And up to that point, they were really focused on families with kids with special health care needs and didn't really include the behavioral health part of it, the aspect. They didn't really search out the behavioral health part and really focus on that until they hired myself. And so what we at Montana's Peer Network, we are a recovery organization. So we do a lot of consulting, advocacy, help support family peer supporters, behavioral health peer supporters. And so really their jobs kind of increased beyond what they were used to doing. We along with providing support for families, we also had regular company meetings, staff meetings. We had staff education. We asked them to continue to do continuing education and trainings. We also, part of this project was to develop the profession of family peer support and develop certification. So that was part of what was expected of them. So there was a lot of changes coming into this. And then the job description, like I said, itself changed. So as a parent partner, they were normally just working with families within their own clinic. They were providing family peer support, connecting them to different resources, providing support and care. And with this new project or the expansion of this project, they were also could serve families outside of their clinic. So that caused some challenges sometimes with the location itself. And they were also asked to focus more on the care and wellness of the family versus the support and connection resources for the child. That was a part of our job, but the focus was kind of changing a little bit more to the health and wellness of the primary caregiver. So, over the 2 years, I am the only, employee that came from the Montana Parent Partner Program that's still here, and then we obviously hired Kayla along the way. I think another challenge was keeping family peer supporters in areas. We had 2 different family peer supporters up in Great Falls, and could not keep one up there, and then when we tried to hire somebody else for up there, we didn't really get any applicants, so that was always, I think, a challenge too, was finding the family peer supporters in the locations, that we were searching for. Kayla, do you wanna continue with challenges?
Yeah, I think so yeah, I started in February of 2022, I believe it would have been.
3.
No, three, sorry. Feels like so long ago, but not that long ago. And I would say the biggest challenges that I came across within was more like systematic challenges. So as a parent raising a child with an autism diagnosis, sensory processing disorder, and anxiety, navigating those resources and services for him on my own was a huge challenge all in itself. Figuring out who to get on the phone, who the questions I need to ask, the paperwork that needs to be done, testing and therapies, and all of that stuff that goes into raising a child like Bryce. And um, I thought I had this, weird thought that I knew all of the work that I had done and all the steps that I had taken and I had learned along the way. I was going to be able to share that to the families that I was working with, and also thinking, now I'm working within these systems of care, and I'm just know it's going to be so much easier to link families to services and help, being in the rooms with providers, being able to have, this connections that I still had with different therapy clinics. And yeah, those challenges still arose. I mean, I think that while everybody is trying to work cohesively together within these systems, I still feel like there's these massive obstacles that not only me as a parent who went through it, and now me as a parent or caregiver who's supporting other parent and caregivers trying to navigate these systems. We still ran together. We still ran into hurdles and roadblocks, and I just thought that it was interesting to be working within these systems and to have the connections that I do and to have all these tools in my toolbox that I either earned through caring for Bryce or learning on my own with the families that I was working with. And yeah, it was surprising to me that even with the lived experience and the knowledge that I did have, um, I then realized how big of a challenge that could be and still is for parents who are just starting out and have no idea what the first steps are, what the second step is, what's the final step, what do I do tomorrow? And yeah, and that was, I think it felt defeating to even me, for them. Bryce is 8, so I'm still well on my journey of caring for him, I still have a long ways to go. But I just, yeah, naively thought, oh, well, I did all of this stuff already and got him set up and situated. And now, of course, I can help all these other parents and caregivers do the same. Well, it's not that easy. So I think that's something that Beth and I started talking about pretty early on. And so that was a huge goal, I think, for both of us to how can we use our lived experience and our knowledge and all the tools that we have, gained and earned in our toolboxes to help these systematic blockages, and be more of a bridge to services, and open that door of communication with other people providing these services. So yeah, it really just kind of set us out on this huge, massive like outreach, and trying to connect with everybody and anybody that we could. I would say mostly I focused in like the Billings area, just because the state that would have been a yeah, I would have needed like probably 5 more years to do that. But and then I would say the other challenge is, how do I put this polite or like correctly and politely? Working within systems of care and working closely with therapy centers, providers, being in treatment meetings. So as a collaborative team with providers, therapists, psychiatrists, caseworkers, and LCSWs, and hearing. I think it was really hard. I know it was hard for me, and Beth and I have had many conversations to hear the language that is used and to hear the conversations that take place around parents and caregivers who are really just trying to do their best raising a child that they also are coming to parent or to the providers to ask for help. And yeah, I think it was hard and disheartening to hear the language, the language that's used and the verbiage that's used to describe these situations. It's very black and white. It's very I don't know, maybe not cutthroat, but like it just feels very like they're reading it out of a textbook almost, and they're talking about human beings, just like me, just like you, who are raising these kids, and we're just trying to do the best job that we can do. And yeah, it was just hard. It was hard to hear as a parent, and also supporting the parents that I did. And a lot of the referrals that I got, hearing what I heard in these rooms about these human beings, the story, if I didn't have the tools in my toolbox to be kind and empathetic, and to be able to meet people where they are, that would have painted a totally different picture of this person that I was going to be communicating with on the other end of the phone or at the next appointment. And I'm just really glad that I have those with my lived experience. I have those tools to be able to meet people where they are through kindness and empathy. And by the end of the conversation, I was talking to another mom. I was talking to another caregiver. And while they might have, those black and white diagnoses, or those black and white missed appointments, or whatever the laundry list of things that they could be doing better, on those black and white, pieces of paper or typed up notes, they really were just human beings that just needed someone to sit with them and to listen to them and to understand. And I thought that the most fascinating thing was, I could finally kind of tell when they really just needed, some encouragement. And just by me sharing with them, I just hope that, in those rooms, the understanding definitely is that you're doing a great job, and they're happy with how many appointments that you're bringing them to, and they know that a lot is on your plate. Just by me reassuring them and giving them those little breadcrumbs of something. I mean, the tears that they would shed, the weight that would fall off of their chest, it was monumental. And so, yeah, I think there's still a lot of work to be done within systems and to advocate, to be an advocate for not only for the, through us supporting the parents, we're also supporting the children. But yeah, there's a lot of advocacy work that needs to be done with the language that's used. And it's not always just black and white. There's a lot more under the surface of what providers are seeing in a 15-minute appointment. I don't know. Beth and I can't solve those things, like I said, overnight, but yeah, that was hard to see. And it took a lot of resilience, and Beth and I using our advocacy voices loudly and effectively and consistently in those rooms so that we could hope to be heard. So,
and what an opportunity to be able to be in those rooms and to give, families a voice. I think too, the challenge within that is working within a team and within a system, bringing that advocacy and still being invited back into the rooms. And so I think we did a good job of bringing the voice and really, all trying to achieve the same thing, with the other providers. So It is tricky. And as, family peer support gets into more places, those will be more opportunities for us to, really help show, what a family voice is and how hard they really are trying, and how maybe we just need to support them a little bit more. So, yeah.
Next slide.
Yes, please.
All right, now we'll talk about the good stuff. Yeah, so like I was kind of mentioning before, I know when I started, that was something that I always, when raising Bryce through the years, outreach was something that I kind of had already started just because of all the different services that he was either, in for a short period of time or in for a long period of time. And so I knew that by us getting out there and doing this, how can we bridge these services together? How can I help within the systems that I'm in to help speed things along? Who do I need to talk to get referrals sent quickly? All of those kinds of things had always been spinning around in my head, but then now I was in the position to be able to do that. So I kind of hit the ground running when I started with Montana's Peer Network, and we set up quite a few meetings. First and foremost, I thought it was important to get a hold of Dr. Nicholson. She was the champion at the Children's Clinic who was a huge advocate for the Parent Partner Program, and she fiercely utilized it and fiercely talked about it. And so that was our first, one of our first outreach, or who I wanted, to connect with. And it's so interesting going full circle with Dr. Nicholson, because she's who diagnosed my son. And then getting to work with her now on the other side of it has been, it has shown me the resilience that I have gained and built through being Bryce's mom. Is now I get to sit in rooms with people who helped me navigate worlds that I didn't understand and know what to do. And now I get to sit in them and share my experience as a parent with them. And we did a lot of outreach within the developmental disability world. So in Billings, STEP, ECI, we went to, I can't remember what the name of it was. Dr. Nicholson had put on something at the college. And so we went to that. Yeah, just really, there's been so many different outreach meetings that we had gone to and been a part of. Billings Clinic, Dr. Navario's clinic at Billings Clinic as well. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few that we have, and it's been really awesome because now I do feel like those challenges or obstacles that we were running into with getting families connected with these services I would say has gotten a little bit better just by us all being in, better communication with each other. And yeah, just kind of coming at it as we all do, our services provide different things to families and caregivers and the children, but I think by us all coming together, we can help support and send people, to the right places, so that, yeah, they can, I don't know, not do a rat race of like running around and trying to figure out who to talk to next and what forms and what website and what paperwork and what, name they need to remember. So that's been, I think for me, that's been a huge accomplishment within this work is that, I kind of think of it like a bulletin board when, like when detectives are trying to like piece together all these, like, I think that our bulletin board with the strings and all the, connecting has really grown in this project. And I think that that's something to be very proud of and to be very hopeful for the future that we can continue on that, connection and so that services are easier to navigate for families and caregivers because, who knows when even me, my kids are still young, who knows when the next challenge will arise for, my kiddos, and I will need to be accessing those services as well. So yeah. And then Montana's Peer Network, we did a 2 weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It already feels like so long ago, but it really wasn't. We had a Billings Family Fun event at Wise Wonders here in Billings. And we were able to, the first 100 people that entered, the tickets were on us. We did giveaways for memberships for Wise Wonders. And if you're not familiar with what Wise Wonders is, it's a interactive science / I don't know, Beth, how would you?
It's like a children's museum, but I think it's science and discovery.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of all ages. There's different things for them. Like my kids range in ages and they all enjoy spending a couple hours there. And yeah, we had, there were, Montec was outside with their swing. We had, Chinook horses out there with a mini, horse and goat. And that was a big hit, except for the cleanup was, was interesting. And then, yeah, we had Step, Dr. Nicholson, we had Riverstone. There was Big Sky Therapy Clinic. Blue
Blue
Sky,
Sky
sorry, I'm
Therapy,
sorry.
advanced, and then Advanced Therapy Clinic and the Family Support Network.
Yeah, so we kind of had their tables set up throughout the area, and yeah, it was really, really, yeah, once again, the outreach that Beth and I have really set out to do. You could really feel it in that room on that Saturday. There was a lot of families that came, and they were really utilizing and accessing the resource tables. There was, you know, parents and caregivers coming together. I know a lot of the parents and caregivers that have been coming to the in-person support group that we have here in Billings. They were all there, and now all of their kids are friends, and now, you know, they're friends. I don't know. It was just a really cool, yeah, I think it was a huge win for the work I know that Beth has set out to do with this pilot project. And I think it was a huge, yeah, I know it was a huge win for me also, just, you know, kind of sitting back and watching, yeah, the connections and the work that we've done kind of just took place in one room. And it was, yeah, it was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I thought it could be a train wreck, but the kids would enjoy it no matter what. And it turned out really, really well. I think another highlight for me was the National Federation of Families Conference. It was in Chicago last year, and Kayla and I both got to go with our executive director. And it's a great conference. They put on great, really great workshops for not only us as you know, families with children, but also as family peer supporters. And then also, they also have like an executive director track too. So they just really have great information and workshops for everybody. It was fun to travel there together as a team. And I was able to do a workshop there, a presentation, my first national conference workshop about our work with family peer support certification here in Montana. I partnered with some folks from Pennsylvania who were also working on certification in their state. And yeah, that was a really great experience. And hopefully we get to do those again. Um, I think,
Yeah, being
I
in
think,
rooms with people who are from all over the United States doing the same, have the same passion and fire and drive that Beth and I had just in our state, but being in a massive building in a new city with like-minded individuals, it was inspiring to see the work also that's being done, yeah, across the, or yeah, nationally. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Of course, working with our families is a highlight. We're kind of getting past the halfway mark on this presentation, so I don't want to spend too much time, but I think anybody that works with families, any family member that supports another family member, we all kind of understand just how rewarding it is to hold somebody's hand, you know, provide somebody a place to just get everything out, help them, you know what the right questions are to ask. I think anytime we as families can kind of peek behind the curtain and see just the good and the bad of the everyday challenges of raising children, and just the instant connection. I think that's the part that I love the most is just that instant connection, and you just kind of feel like you've known these people your whole lives. And so I don't know if you have anything else to share on that, Kayla.
Yeah, no, I think the different kinds of human beings that I've had the privilege of working with on, you know, and they all come from different backgrounds. It's moms, dads, caregivers, and you know, helping and talking through many different kinds of stories and different kinds of obstacles, but also at the end of the day with the same, the same common goal is to just do the best job that they can do raising this kiddo and getting to be the person to help remind them or to help them navigate something when they can't really remember that they're doing a great job. That's a huge privilege in itself. And yeah, the resilience that has been built with a lot of the families that I've worked with has just been inspiring to sit and watch. And it's really just because they had someone that understood and got it, and they were able to, they were able to talk all that stuff out. And I think that that's been, the resiliency that you could see being built just even after a short amount of time, and also with the families that I've been working with for a while. But it really only takes a couple conversations to even for them to
and I think I get just as much out of it as the families I work
oh
with
yeah
do. So
there's a lot of time you're having a conversation about something and then you're like, oh yeah, I should probably apply this to my own dynamic. That happened a lot as well.
yes. I think another great thing that has come from this project is the creation of the Lifeline notebook. Is that the next slide? Or yeah. So when Kayla came on, she and our other family peer supporter out of Great Falls worked really hard on this Lifeline notebook. And what it is basically, like it says, a notebook designed by and for parents and caregivers of children with special health care needs. So it's just a place where we all kind of look back and kind of thought about the resources that we wished we would have had access to. And one of them that came up was just a notebook for us as parents to write everything in so that we can remember, providers' appointments and medications and names, and it's kind of helped the organization of it all. Kayla worked really hard on the back half, which is a self-care portion for the parent or caregiver, which is just as important as everything else. And yeah, do you want to say anything else about that, Kayla?
Yeah, it was important for me to give them, parents and caregivers, a practical self-care section in this. Not there is some fun self-care tips in there as well, but I really wanted to give them something that was I think for me, people can give me ideas and tell me, oh, you should go for a walk, or you should take a bath and sit by yourself. But actually utilizing those kinds of tools in a real life day-to-day scenario it's not practical. And I wanted to hand them something. I wanted to give them a writing prompt. I wanted to give them ideas on actual things that they could very very practical tools for self-care. And even if it was just to spark an idea of like, oh man, I'm really not taking care of my my eating patterns, or even just to spark something within their wellness plan. That was really important to me, to think back on the things that I wish that I could have had. So yeah.
Karen just asked, is it a hard copy or a digital? It is a hard copy. I will let Kayla put the link in the chat since she's super good at that stuff. Well, while we go on, I think the next part is me. So maybe
let me switch the slide and then I'll get the link for it.
Perfect. So with this, we also did a survey. Any good pilot project comes out with lots of data. And so we have been surveying families since May of 2023. Pretty much every time we call or interact with a family, we ask them to take this survey. I'm sure they got pretty sick of it by the end of it, but they were all really good sports. I think everybody understands that when you do a grant project, it's really, in order to continue the funding, you really need to have the data. So one of the questions, and I'll go through these pretty quickly since we're running out of time, was how helpful was your visit or phone call with family peer supporter? Pretty much everybody said either helpful or very helpful. We'll go to the next one.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'm giving you multiple jobs. We asked them which of the wellness categories do you feel were addressed today. There's the dimensions of wellness that are pretty well known in the recovery community. We pulled them over and used those. So there's emotional, physical, social, spiritual, intellectual, financial, environmental, and occupational. And of course, 83%, the biggest one was the emotional part. But it always surprised me getting off the phone and having people answer that, like, we help them with their occupational wellness, or we help them with their financial or intellectual wellness. And so it just, I think, really shows just having that support. Um, the families can feel their wellness increase and kind of, across those different categories. We also asked them what kind of support did they receive today. Most of them said emotional. They could choose more than one. Informational is more connecting them to the different services and the resources. Educational is kind of helping them gain knowledge and skills for themselves, for their child's disability, illness, anything like that. And then concrete is like helping them like physically get to a support group, or helping them navigate childcare or transportation. So we asked this question: if you didn't have access to a family peer supporter, who would you reach out to when you needed support or had concerns? And this really gave us a tangible measurement on what is the cost of those other services that they would have reached out to versus the cost of having a family peer supporter, and how much in the end does that cost savings produce. And so if you go to the next slide, we had things like, sorry, real quick, go back.
Like,
Call my child's doctor, call my own doctor, call the phone nurse, call the child's psychiatrist, call my own psychiatrist, child's therapist, own therapist, goes down, take them to the walk-in clinic, take them to the ER, call the police, on and on. And then there were some that don't have a cost to them, like, talking family and friends, or a lot of them said, I don't know what I would do. Continue to feel overwhelmed was an option. So if you go to the next one, so what it showed was that one family interaction, one parent interaction with a family peer supporter saves Montana $151.83. So yearly, that's $314,000 roughly. We had about 80 some percent of our families that we worked with were on Medicaid. So if you go over a little bit, it says total Montana Medicaid dollars saved per year is $280,257. So what we were able to show Montana and the Department of Public Health and Human Services is that for every family peer supporter that they hire, or that organizations hire in Montana, Montana Medicaid annually saves $112,000. So really just showing them that it is important to invest in family peer support, in certification, in funding these type of pilot projects, because it really does have a cost savings for them at the end. So the next thing is certification. We set out to have Montana State certification for family peer supporters. Like I said, we created the Montana Family Peer Support Task Force. What that did was that group met for about a year And they really developed the scope of practice, code of ethics, training standards, continuing education requirements, clinical supervision requirements for a family peer supporter as a profession, and what the certification requirements should be. So these are kind of all recommendations to Montana. And then we took that information to the legislative interim committees that were meeting, and I'll let Kayla kind of further talk about that.
Yeah, I'll keep it. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I'll keep it to a minimum. Yeah, so Beth and I and Dr. Nicholson were asked to speak on a panel in front of the commission, or sorry, we spoke in front of the House Bill 872, or Beth was on a panel with other organizations, and it was really exciting because they did vote to section off $700,000 for the behavioral health side of family peer support. So that was a huge win, because they could see the importance. And then when we went and spoke in front of the interim committee, it was myself, Beth, and Dr. Nicholson. So, Beth gave a lot of the data and what we had been working on to show, what is a family peer supporter, what is the code of ethics, to really just show the work that had been done on building this as a profession and not just a friend calling a friend who is also raising a kid, and really showing them the impact that it has been having. And then I spoke more from my lived experience of raising a child, but also from the work that I was doing with families. And then Dr. Nicholson, and that was another full circle moment. The woman that I waited for over 10 months to see, when I was in the thick of things with Bryce. I was sitting next to her advocating to this legislative panel of why family peer support is important. And it was a privilege and an honor to speak from my heart that day, and to just tell them all the great things that we've been doing, and also how beneficial this is and could be to more families across the state. And through a couple different conversations, because they go back and forth quite a bit. They had their lawyer draft a bill, and we're on the final stages now because they voted and approved that bill. So that will be being voted on the floor in 2025, which is huge and exciting. And that's a big deal, because usually you'd have to find a legislator or a representative to back your bill, and you'd have, the work behind that is a longer road. And so we feel really hopeful that with the committee backing the bill and producing the bill, that we're very hopeful that it will get that it will pass, and family peer support will be certified in the state of Montana. So
Absolutely. What's the next slide? I think we can kind of skip. We've kind of talked about the workforce development within all of this. We talked about the House Bill 872 funding. They've also put out recommendations for family peer support to be Medicaid reimbursed. Looking at their priorities, it's not going to be instant, but at least is on there, the recommendations. So that's fun. And then we are working on training curriculum, 40-hour family peer support curriculum, and that will be launched in January. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, should I share the LMS link too if anybody wants to sign up to
Yeah,
any of the free
so
trainings?
absolutely. So MPN has a new virtual training platform, and there are beginning to be family trainings on there. There's a caregiver wellness on there right now, but there's also other just lots of great information and great trainings that apply, I think, to anyone that's helping, somebody else in this, profession of being, one family to another family, peer to another peer. So there's lots
Yeah.
of good things on there. And I
And
think
if you
at
guys
this
have any
point,
ideas too on things that you guys would like to see
absolutely.
a training produced on, let us know because that's always something that we're open to as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Most of them will be free. There will be some at some point, that will have a charge required. Another thing that we have done in this pilot project is we created provider training. So really to help support those providers and organizations that are going to want to hire family peer supporters. That's kind of the next step, I think, in all of this is um, helping them just kind of continuing to support the workforce. So our grant is over the end of September. It has been a great pilot project experience, a lot of challenges and a lot of highlights and just a lot of growth. I know for myself personally, and just really getting to meet a lot of great people that are doing the same sort of work. There are many, many families out there that are doing great family peer support work, and it'll be great to kind of have that all organized. And it'd be nice to be reimbursed too. It'd be nice to be able to go be hired as a family peer supporter and be reimbursed and not have to work on these grants and then, you know, see the programs come to an end. We are hopeful the Children's Special Health Services did put out the next application. A lot of organizations here in Montana applied, and so we're really hopeful that family peer support obviously can uh, will continue. Kayla and I have a road ahead of us of saying goodbye to our families that we're working with. That's going to be hard. That'll be another challenge. We should have put that in the challenge part, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Do you guys have any questions or comments or anything for us? Well, Kayla, I have been, it's been an honor and a privilege to be a family peer supporter with you. And for pretty much everybody who is on this call, we've worked with you. You've been on the task force. You've been instrumental in, all of this. So we, really thank you and hope that those relationships and those connections can continue. I think family peer support in Montana is going to go strong, and we've got a lot of really good momentum right now. So, yeah, thanks, Joby.
And
Alrighty, any last
thank you,
comments,
Beth,
Kayla?
for all the instrumental work that you have done. Because without you, this wouldn't have been. And so thank you for everything that you've done.
Appreciate you guys. We appreciate the Department of Public Health and Human Services giving us this opportunity to do the pilot project and the support that they have given to us. Many estate workers sat on the task force calls throughout the year, and so that was really helpful too. So,
Yes. Yeah.
alrighty. Well, with that, you guys have a great rest of the afternoon, and we will see you next month for Family First Wednesdays. They will continue. So have a great one. Thanks.